Great.
What's up, people? It's amazing how we can get this group on 2 weeks in a row, all because prioritizing this discussion brings us a certain level of calm.
No, because it's
But
32 degrees outside. That's why.
Yeah, that'll be it.
that may be one thing, but when it's 32 degrees, I'm under my covers.
Yeah.
But either way, I'm happy to have y'all. Happy to be, dealing with these Knicks on this level.
Mm.
So we're gonna get right to the point. I said 3-1, 2-2. Who said 2-2? That was Jimbo, wasn't it?
Jimbo.
Yeah, he said 2-2.
Now I don't know if you said the last two was going to be losers, but I figured just the Thunder game was definitely going to be a loss, but still have enough to be able to beat the Bulls. But I think I underestimated the how our coach was going to prioritize the minutes.
Yeah.
Because
That game.
they didn't look right.
Nah,
So,
I wasn't even thinking of them when that happened.
mhm. What were you thinking about? Because they beat the first two games was a breeze. Wizards and the Utah Jazz. That was an easy two
Oh,
wins right
yeah.
there.
I actually thought they were going to lose to the Jazz. That's how I was concerned.
Really?
Really?
I was
Wow.
Wow.
glad they won.
At home at the Garden, I can see losing to them on the road, but not at the Garden.
Yeah.
If it was an early afternoon game, yeah, he probably would have lost. But
They wanted to lose, but I was just a little concerned about them.
okay, no, you the man. But yeah, those first two games, the Wizards and the Jazz, I didn't come away with them in any way, shape, or form as having to be a challenge. But I knew that Thunder game was going to be, and I was shocked at how the first three quarters were going. The way they were playing. I just was hoping that they was going to be able to
Mm.
maintain that same force. You know.
Like a finals match. If it was like they were playing in the
hmm
finals to me, it
hmm
was exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, and the shots that Shea was doing, I'm like, oh my God, he did the finger roll from the foul line.
Oh.
Kid's incredible.
I was like, hold on a second, he's
He's
not George
incredible.
Gervin.
I think a lot was
And it was a switch too. And
Mm. Mm.
I was like, oh
in,
my goodness.
in crucial parts. They shut Ananobi down.
hmm
Yeah.
Blocks, man. I think that kind of like
hmm
was
Yeah,
like,
they are a long team.
yeah,
They are a long team. I mean, their guards are what, six, at least 6'5" and better.
yeah.
So because Shea is 6'6", 6'7". Even when Caruso comes in, he's 6'5".
Mm.
I think the shortest guard is the what's the French dude, the other Canadian dude, the French dude name, forgot his name, Ogier or something like that. But he's the shortest one. He's like 6'2", 6'3".
Mhm.
Everybody else is string beans. So
Yeah.
they can definitely put pressure on the defense. And they did. That's our biggest challenge is overcoming our height challenges in the backcourt.
Yeah.
And with you notice that people don't really take jump shots anymore. It's closer to a set shot than a jump shot. You know, so they don't get up on it, so they don't get the height. So it's
Yeah.
not that it's easy to defend, but it's interesting that they put it in a situation where they can. So, but I was not thrilled about the fourth quarter, but it was an 18-point differential. That was not cool.
Not
So,
at all.
hmm but the first three quarters, it's not a moral victory here. You want them to show out, improve out, and they was in position to do it, but unfortunately, they couldn't pull it through. But that's the Chicago Bulls game. I was like, oh my goodness, they let them get up. But Chicago does play them tough. They do. Like last year, they played them tough,
Mm-hmm.
and they've been playing them tough,
Didn't they beat them
continually.
twice? It's the second time this year they beat them, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm. And
Chicago plays
sometimes
them.
a team just has your number.
Yeah.
You know, they won. I think it was back in yeah, it was back in November. Yeah, and they beat us by 1 point, 124, 123 at the Garden.
That game they definitely should have won.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah, true indeed. But I don't want ING to go low
Nope.
because they lost. What y'all think about the game? I gave my thoughts. What y'all think?
Well, you know my present situation, so I'm all ears.
So let me ask you one question. You have radio?
I'm not in the house. Wait a minute.
Wow.
Do I have a radio?
Wow.
Wow, that's a good question. I'm gonna have to look.
Because that's right now your only option.
Oh, I'm looking, guys. I'm looking for a better service. Mm.
I think
That's it.
I think they probably come to some sort of conclusion soon.
But here's the funny part. Didn't Dolan own
MSG?
Optimum
No.
Cablevision?
He owned Cablevision,
And
Yeah.
didn't Cablevision turn into Optimum?
but I think he might have sold it.
Yeah,
Okay.
because that would. Mm.
What was it?
Well,
December, the first week of December, December 1st, it changed
January
over.
1st. Yeah, January 1st.
January 1st, sorry,
Yeah.
January 1st.
Yeah, I think he sold
World War
Cablevision.
One.
Yeah, okay.
I know my dad passed out.
Mhm. Wow.
Unbelievable. I'm gonna have to look
man.
for a radio.
So what was the score of the Bulls game?
They got blown out. 139 to 126.
26.
Mm-hmm.
What is this? They're saying that Carl Anthony Towns is he got hurt.
Got hit in the face.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I know in the middle. Got hit in the neck. In the neck.
Okay.
But it's not hitting his neck.
Okay. Mm.
I think that Liver got that 9 wins. I don't think they started like taking it for granted like we got it because they still played hard, but they're tired.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I
They're
thought.
tired.
Well, they
Yeah.
probably was tied from the Thunder game,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
you know. But I knew they were gonna lose the Thunder game when they were up 87-80. I said to myself, the Thunder's gonna win this one.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Why you say that?
Well, the way they were playing, they this is gonna sound kind of crazy, but they were trying to outscore them rather than to defend them. And
That doesn't sound crazy. No, it doesn't sound crazy.
Mm-hmm.
you know, and when you're playing the Thunder or a team like the Thunder,
Mm.
you can't trade baskets because they're gonna hit more than you're gonna hit.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they got this guy. What's that guy you just mentioned? The guard.
Shay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they got Shea. Come on, man. The guy, So you hit one, they hit three.
Mm-hmm.
You keep trading like that, you're gonna wind up losing. And so when it was 87-80, I said they're gonna lose. And they did,
Mm.
But I mean, but they were fighting hard,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
but it's just that you just can't trade basket. Yeah, like I think 4 of them, 3 of them was in the 20s, and I
With
think and I
shots
think
or
and I
scoring.
think Hart had 19, and I think Cat had 17,
Mm.
right? And then I think others had like 21, 22, 24,
Mhm.
something like that. So they were scoring, but they weren't stopping them from scoring. And
Yeah.
that's the problem. Even though you do want to have more points than your opponent, but you want to stop your opponent from scoring. You don't want to just trade baskets because, like I said, you hit one, they hit 3, and that's what I thought they were going to lose, and they did.
Mm.
Plus the way they.
Plus sometimes the way Tips calls time sometimes is strange.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think sometimes he puts a little bit too much confidence in his players.
Mm.
He acts as though sometimes he acts as though he has Magic Johnson and Jordan out there. So instead of calling, like, if you got Magic on the floor, all right, yeah, you have a coach on the floor who knows what he's doing, and you can have confidence in him. Or if you have somebody like Isaiah Thomas, somebody like that. But although Brunson is good, don't get me wrong, he's good, but sometimes you may need to call time to regroup everybody and get everybody on the same page. Sometimes the way he calls time, I just be shaking my head. I don't know why he calls times like you'll be up by 9, and then now you up by 1, then you call time. Instead of if you're up by 9 and now you're up by 7, and you can look at it and tell that it's going in the wrong direction, call time. Why you still up by 7 or 8, and try to get it together then? Don't wait till you're up by 1. It's crazy.
Mm.
And I'm one of the biggest Tibbs supporters that there is, but I do think sometimes the way he calls timeouts, sometimes the way he coaches, I just shake my head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's funny. You already know where I came in on Tibbs. I stopped fussing at him last year when he was able to adapt throughout the whole year.
Yeah,
But
I've seen changes,
Mhm.
and for the better, but sometimes still, I just think I think he's overconfident in his team. I think, you
His
don't have,
starters.
yeah, and that's another thing.
Mm-mm.
Well, I think when Robinson comes back,
Mm.
they're talking about trading this guy.
Mm.
I hope they don't trade him, because they need the height. They need
Yeah.
that height. Unless you can trade him for something that's going to be substantially better.
Mhm.
But it's going to be kind of hard to get someone who's a better defender and a better rebounder.
So
I'm-
he,
Well, if he come back with that same size, forget it. I think they can work with Achua. You don't think so? Precious?
Mm.
Give him someone. He only had 8 minutes. No? I like his game. And I like how he played with Cat. I
Mhm,
like where they had to have them. I like how they played together.
mhm,
Even Payne, I like his style.
mhm.
They don't use him
8 minutes.
enough.
They don't use him. When he's out
They
there,
don't
he
use him enough.
plays his game.
Yes,
You know,
definitely.
because if Jalen was injured, probably he was not gonna miss that game. But
Mhm,
the whole 40 minutes, that didn't make sense to me.
Mm.
That was
Was
the
mhm.
problem
re-injured
with
himself.
Camp, I believe.
To me, he didn't give what I didn't see. The Brunson I'm used to seeing. And he's
Mm.
injured, so he had to pacify his leg a little. He had to pacify his leg a little bit. To me, he could have sat out and let the rest of them play. But
Mhm.
Mm.
I don't know if he
Achua is
can.
good,
I don't know if
but the problem that you have with Achua is that he's not a consistent scorer. He's a very good defender. There's no doubt about
yeah,
it,
yeah,
but he's not a consistent scorer.
yeah.
You
He
know,
seems to be making moves from the outside instead of being
Mhm.
underneath. He's getting more and more like, driving toward the basket or whatever, and unless he's completely open, I don't know if that's really necessary. Unless he's going to score all the time.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So
I mean,
he's
what you
One,
still
gonna do with
going
8 minutes of play though? He had 8 minutes of play,
you got
5 rebounds. I mean,
Mm-mm.
you can't even practice. It's not even practice time.
so here's my in that Thunder game. I know we're talking about the fourth quarter, and I agree with your point, Glenn, that you can't trade baskets with Oklahoma City. You got to stop them. But even in the fourth quarter, Brunson wasn't in the game at the start of the fourth quarter, right? And Towns is your supposed to be at that time be your number one option. I didn't see enough of the point guards at that time. Who was I think it was what's his name again? Payne and Shammer were in the game at the point where they prioritized Cat during that time period for
Mhm.
them to be able to more of a go-to. If you need to sustain that lead, you know, because Cat really did have a lot of shots that whole game.
well, you got to understand something too. Hardenstein really played him well.
Oh,
He may have, but
he did.
he,
Yeah.
he may have played him well, but you still can play through the offense. You still
Huh?
the setup is at least setting it up through Cat. Those are just some of the points where from a Payne standpoint, he gets a little free with his sometime with his point guard play. But I just thought a little bit more of his utilization of that. I mean, during that beginning portion of the fourth quarter. Now, granted, they didn't, what's the name? Oklahoma City didn't overwhelm them in the beginning of the fourth quarter, but yet still it wasn't sustained. That eight
Well,
that 8 point lead going into it with that type of play. So it was just I think,
one,
at that stage, I think prioritizing talent at that point should have been a little bit more of a focus at that point.
well, see, here's the thing. The one thing that you have to recognize is that Hartenstein, he kept Cat pushed out of the paint,
Mm-hmm.
and he is one of the few centers in the league that has the foot speed to keep up with Cat when Cat makes his play toward the basket.
Mm-hmm.
He has that ability. That's why we loved him with us. He had the ability to switch on guards and switch on the smaller players because he has great foot speed. So he's able to keep up with Cat. So he
Mm-hmm.
played him well. You
And,
know.
and that's fine. But the aggressiveness from Towns at that stage, if he allowed himself to be taken out of the game, that's always going to work toward the negative toward the Knicks.
All right.
So that's just something that, from a
Hold on.
mindset standpoint, you want to be in a position to be able to do. And that's the little in-game activities that I would like to have seen play out. Because as much as, the effect that Cat's been throughout the whole season, and this stage, you up 8, you on the road, Brunson's not in the game, and your guy is you need your guy to beat your guy things. I just think that switch needs to be on for that guy to be able to do that. So that's the only thing I'm that I was a little dismayed at. And of course, when Brunson comes to the game, Brunson's going to try to do Brunson things at certain points of the time. But he shot like crazy shots in the fourth quarter,
Yeah.
trying to come back, which is understandable because he's always done that. But and
Wasn't it?
he wasn't hitting, right? He wasn't
No.
hitting. The whole team didn't hit in the fourth quarter. Granted,
Yeah.
I mean, like what, 1 or 2 baskets or something like that
Oh,
in the fourth quarter. You
This
know,
year was low.
I think
yeah. It just,
if it's possible,
hmm
I think Tibbs needs to try to develop some type of system
hmm
so that, especially when you're playing a team with 3-point shooters,
Hmm.
hmm
you can't just allow these guys to get open shooting threes, man. You gotta
Yeah.
at least, without fouling them, at least put some pressure on them to make
Yeah, that guy was he
ultimate
5 for 5 in the fourth quarter from
ridiculous,
Oklahoma. Yeah,
ridiculous.
Which
yeah.
one, Shea or
From
Williams?
for excuse me, for what's his name, Wiggins
oh,
from
Wiggins? Oh,
yeah.
okay. Oh,
hmm
Wiggins, yeah.
But even the game was it with the Jazz or was it
hmm
who the Washington with the Wizards
hmm
Hmm.
killing them in the beginning. They just happen to stop hitting
hmm
those
Yeah.
3-pointers, man. It's like they just
but it's to
not
your point
covering
though,
them and
Jimmy.
put pressure on them.
It's to your point. What I've always had this little thing about Tibbs. What strategy does he implement to attack the other team's weakness at certain points in the game instead of just keep the mindset of, oh, pass the ball, move your feet. Those things generally work, yes. But when you have, advantages on certain area, where can you leverage that in game situations so that you can ensure that you're going to be more effective at that stage of the game? And that's the only tweak, that of criticism that I have. Now I will continue to have for Tibbs when it
Hmm.
comes to those scenarios, because he keeps a general philosophy of move the ball, pass the ball, try, keep moving them, try to set the pick, open up, and that's the general way of playing. It's not specific enough to, hey, you know, if what Jalen Williams has a weakness on a certain guard, is there a certain level of pick and roll type of situation that we can have for him? Do we want what type of execution do we want to have in those types of scenarios? So it's just picking up a guy, not saying that he is a weakness, but it's just a matter of where can you attack a weakness in the game,
Yeah.
specifically when it's winning time. I just think that's something that I don't see clearly, you know. But overall, can't fuss about it.
Yeah, they're doing good.
It was a nice run, 9
Mhm.
games. The
It
overtime,
was
the
good.
Wizards. I
I
was
mean,
excited.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't expect them to win them all. I mean,
Yeah, I
you
do.
would like to.
Yeah, I do.
We want
You know, but it's cool. But the Bulls game was pretty interesting. They just like they weren't even in it.
Mm.
The whole they didn't look like they was even in it. It just was a weird looking, weird game.
I think that was just a bad game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a bad game against a team that, as you said, continuously plays them well.
Mm.
Yeah, their team have their number. So who we play tomorrow?
So going to the schedule, we got 4 games this week. We go at home. So all the next 4 games are at home. Actually, next 5 games are at
Yes,
home.
finally.
Good.
So Monday they play Orlando. That's a win. Wednesday they play Toronto. That's a win. Friday, Oklahoma Thunder again.
Oh boy.
That's a loss.
They need to try to redeem themselves.
Then Sunday against the Bucks. So I have the inclination of 3-1 again, but because although this Milwaukee team has been playing better, they don't play well against the Knicks. So I'm gonna stick with my 3-1.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Um,
I think
mhm,
for the Bucks, we are their Bulls.
mhm, mhm.
They just lost to the
Because for some reason, yeah, right.
Milwaukee
And
just
for some reason, Lillard doesn't play well against Brunson.
And yeah.
Well, you know how I feel about him, right?
No, how you feel about them?
Oh,
I don't like him at all.
No.
I didn't know that.
No, I
thank you,
don't.
Crystal. Thank you for
Hey,
bringing it.
I don't like him at all.
Sorry.
Thank you for bringing it. Appreciate it, Crystal.
Sorry.
You know,
You got no rest time.
They can't lose enough. Well, I don't
Sunday.
mind the Bucks. I don't mind the
Mhm.
Bucks.
Grant, I don't. Well, the only way I think them losing to the Bucks because the game's at 3 o'clock. They don't play well. It's not a night game.
You see,
For some reason,
you always say that, but those are other Nick teams. They're
Yeah.
not the same players.
uh, it's a history, man. You do that for 20 plus years, man. It's the Knicks,
But but different with different players.
and they still do the same thing with different players. 20 plus
They didn't
years.
do it last year.
Yes, they did.
They did
They had
not.
they had a couple games, 12 o'clock games that they didn't play well in last season.
Tomorrow.
still have that in
But
mind.
we'll
when
see.
they go into play.
Actually it was a game against the
Sunday.
Bucks where they
Mhm.
got blown out, and then they came back to them on Christmas and they came back and beat them. But the game before that, they had multiple days off. Day game. So it's just a normal situation for them, when they do that. So but either way, you know, they have like maybe 4 year,
Mhm.
and in those 4, you're gonna find a scenario where it's gonna be a situation like that. So, but it's a 3 o'clock game, so hopefully, they'll be they'll be up for it,
All
and
right,
they can,
we'll see.
hmm you know. So I think I'll be cool with that. But
So
I'm saying
who are they
3-1.
playing? Who are they playing
So
the next game?
so next 4 games at the Garden, actually 5. Excuse me, 5 games. Excuse me. But the 4 games
Magic.
for the week though is the Magic,
Six.
Raptors, Thunder, Bucks. I say 3-1. I would love to for 4-0 to get
Yeah.
that they show that they. It's not that they do right by the Magic and Raptors. They go into the Thunder game and they learn from it. But you want to see that they really did learn from it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if they, I would love for them to be 4-0, or if the 3-1 is against they beat the Thunder and lose to the Bucks.
Mm.
I wouldn't mind that, but just to get back at them.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be a 3-1 scenario.
So
Thunder,
it's
you
They got
probably
1 day of
understand-
rest.
Probably
Mhm.
understand them
the
more with the Bucks if they
Magic,
beat the Thunder. They'd be
Toronto,
tired.
You know, the way
Oh.
the Thunder is
Okay.
playing,
Bucks.
the way the Thunder is playing, if they get that kid Chet back,
Yeah, Chet back. Yeah,
Oh.
serious.
Mhm.
they may win the championship, bro.
Mhm.
They look good.
They do, and they got picks coming up for the rest of the next 10 years. They got so many picks, so they're not going. Their pipeline is serious.
Mm.
All
You
right,
know,
so
so.
we'll see.
But that's what I'm sticking to right there. 3-1.
3-1.
I think we're gonna be nice coming into this end of the 40 game stretch. You know, so far they've only in the past 16 games. They are 12-4 in the past 16 games, so you can't beat that. So I'm happy with their progress over this time period. So it's now closing in these last 4 games out should be good. So, but that's the story. I'm sticking with it. We're
3 and
signing
1.
off, keeping
3
it
and
there.
1.
3-1.
All
What
right,
you
I'm
say,
going
3-1.
3 and 1.
That works for
That
me.
sounds
too.
good.
Glenn?
3-1.
What are you saying?
I'll make predictions.
Anyway,
Oh,
you gotta be big
man.
baby. Gotta be big baby.
That's why you can't see
No, I
himself.
think 3-1. I think 3-1.
3-1.
Yeah,
He just had to put his big babyism in all this,
all the
Got to put the
time.
camera back on me. Ay,
Mm.
ay, ay. All right.
Uh,
Well, we signing off. Thanks again, team. We see
all
each other
right.
next week.
All right.
Harlem
Good, hearing
MSG.
good things. Hearing good things.
Mhm.